Well, hello again. Here we are for another scriptural study. We'll be exploring two questions from a scriptural standpoint today, and they are as follows. Number one, how can we determine the first day of the first month on any given year? And question two, can we literally observe the good news message from the sun and moon with the stars? Of course, this is a proposed scriptural view that the world ignores, and is a continuation of the studies that we have had under the passage of Tehillim, or Psalms chapter 90, verse 12, where it states to teach us to number our days and let us bring the heart to wisdom. As well, and if you've noticed, this site is dedicated to the scriptural passage from Acts chapter 18, verse 15, which shares, quote, "But if it is a question of words and names and the law, which is among you, see to it yourselves, for I do not wish to be a judge of these matters." End of quote. As the world continues to act like the proconsul or deputy of Achaia, which was a region in Greece, this site is dedicated to pursue these scriptural studies in words, names, and a law, which includes the scriptural calendar. The proconsul Galileo did not want to touch any of these subjects at all, and nor does the world to this very day. But we do. We want to do a deep dive in the true meaning of the original words in Scripture. We certainly want to do a deep dive in regards to the names of the Father and Son, and why the prophets and many others carried that name in their own. And we certainly want to do a deep dive in the Torah, the law, which includes the scriptural calendar. These subjects are not subjects that the world in this day and age unfortunately wants to dive into. Again, we're not affiliated to any world religion and or world institution. And for that matter, we have no intention and or desire to start another. We are not teachers. We are not leaders. At the end of the day, we associate ourselves to fellow Bereans and folks that are repairing the breach. A few guidelines and suggestions as you watch this video today. Please view it on full screen. Feel free to replay certain parts as there is much scriptural material being shared. And as always, and more importantly, feel free to critique from a scriptural standpoint, of course, because the only intent here is to worship in spirit and truth. So here we go. And for a quick review, we are going to share that this proposed scriptural view for measuring time under the following four constraints is something that we have shared previously. So again, under these four constraints, you have no devices to use such as paper, pencils, computers with various programs, telescopes, clocks, watches, TVs, radios, etc. And two, like Moses and the rest of the Israelites that left Egypt and were stranded in a desert, they didn't have any of the above. So pretend you are stranded in a desert and or even an island with no people around. And three, in the day you arrive at this location, you have no recollection of what time, day, and or month it is. And four, all you have in your possession is the scriptures, and you are fully aware that you cannot take away and or add to what it states. This is truly a set-apart situation, and possibly, in the very near future, a possible scenario. And for those that have seen the previous videos, and the ones that are just seeing this video for the first time, the intention of this series as it relates to the scriptural calendar is, can we observe new moon days, Sabbaths, and appointed times without the help of man, by just following the consistent courses of the heavenly luminaries? This is the intention of this particular study and the past studies on the scriptural calendar. Scripturally, we are told to look up as our redemption draws near, as we read in Luke chapter 21, verses 28. But many ask, look up at what and why? It is truly amazing that many are now learning about the observable calendar of the Creator, Yahuwah, which can be seen in the heavens, which actually contains His good news message. Let's learn what this good news message, as it is written in the heavens, is all about. Our Creator, Yahuwah, is the father of lights, as it states in the book of Jacob, or James, chapter 1, verse 17. Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of lights, with whom there is no change, nor shadow of turning. As you can see in this visual, Yahuwah and his calendar of lights hangs in the heavens, and not on a wall like the world and its calendars do. Have you ever wondered why the world celebrates its traditions in the dark? Just read Mark chapter 7 to find a little bit about how the Creator Yahuwah feels about this. The world starts its days at midnight in the dark. Why? Major celebrations such as Christmas and many other celebrations with Festival of Lights are tied to the economic system in the Gregorian pagan month of December. Why? Why does the world start its year in January, another pagan Gregorian month name? Study these things and you will be very pleased that you did, to find out how the whole world has been deceived not to look at the light, but rather the darkness. The Scriptural Calendar is captured in the book of Bereshith, meaning beginnings, which was unfortunately changed to the book of Genesis, chapter 1, verses 14 through 18. And Elohim, the Almighty and our Almighty Ones, said, "Let lights come to be in the expanse of the heavens, to separate the day from the night, and let them be for signs and appointed times." Appointed times in this case is the word Mohadim in Hebrew, which is the festivals of our Creator Yahuwah. Continuing on, and for days and years. Verse 15, "And let them be for lights in the expanse of the heavens, to give light on the earth." And it came to be so. Verse 16, "And Elohim made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, which is the sun, and the lesser light to rule the night, which is the moon, with the stars." Verse 17, "And Elohim said, set them in the expanse of the heavens to give light on the earth." Verse 18, "And to rule over the day and over the night, and to separate the light from the darkness. And Elohim saw that it was good." As always, we would like to thank the Creator's Calendar team for some of these visuals that we get to share. As well, some other websites such as the Lost Pilgrim Feasts.webs.com is another great site. Bible Timeline Ministries is another great site. And of course, the Sabbathofthebible.com. There are many sites coming up in this day and age in regards to presenting the full moon as new moon. And it's a wonderful thing to see repairs of the breach. Share the light. Even the Messiah Yahushua answered, quote, "Are there not 12 hours in the day? If anyone walks in the day, he does not stumble, because he sees the light of this world." Continuing on, Yehukanan, in his book, book 1, chapter 1, verse 7, states, "But if we walk in the light as he is in the light, we have fellowship with one another. And the blood of Yahushua Messiah, his Son, cleanses us from all sin." Okay, let's get into the details on how to determine the first day of any month, let alone the first day of the first month of a year, and as well, the good news message as it is written in the heavens. In the book of Tehillim, which means praises, which was and incorrectly changed to Psalms, we read the following in chapter 19, verses 1 through 4. "The heavens are proclaiming the esteem of the Almighty, and the expanse is declaring the work of his hand. Day to day pours forth speech, and night to night reveals knowledge. There is no speech, and there are no words. Their voice is not heard. Their line has gone out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. So what is the good news is written, let alone spoken, where their voice cannot be heard, and can be physically observed astronomically throughout the year." The sun and moon, with the stars, is the scriptural view of light where the good news is written, let alone spoken where their voice cannot be heard, and can be physically observed astronomically throughout the year. This visual is excellent because it highlights the full new moon event that occurs once every month consistently. As well, once we add the stars into this picture, or the Mazzoroth, the constellations, it does provide what and where the good news is written, in which we will cover in greater detail as we go through this video. For the rest of this video, we are going to talk about what is known as the Shamayim, or the heavens. What happens with the sun, moon, in alignment with the stars. The rest of this video will be very much from an astronomical point of view, where no man, no person can manipulate the Creator's calendar. So, let's weigh the evidence. In the heavens, we have 4 scenarios that take place with the phases of the moon. Full moon phase, first visible crescent moon phase, dark conjunction moon phase, last visible crescent moon phase. The world promotes conjunction as new moon, and there are those in world religions that promote the first visible crescent moon phase. For this study, we're going to talk about the light, the full light, with no shadows, no darkness, asking the question, what is truly the scriptural new moon in this case? Again, in the previous visual, it highlighted that the Earth was between the sun and the moon, and this phenomena astronomically happens once a month, every month. It does not happen with a conjunction moon phase and or a crescent moon phase in regards to being fully aligned in that manner, let alone aligned with the Mazzoroth or constellation, which we'll review further. So, there is another option, the full moon phase, as we've stated. So let's find out from Scripture if it indeed backs it up in regards to the moon being a very important portion or aspect of the Creator's calendar. We read in Tehillim meaning praises, which was changed to Psalms, chapter 89, verse 37. Like the moon, it is established forever, and the witness in the heaven is steadfast, Selah. In Enoch, chapter 78, verse 12 through 13, it states, on the first day she is called the new moon, for on that day the light rises upon her. She becomes full moon, exactly on the day when the sun sets in the west. And from the east she rises at night, and the moon shines the whole night through, till the sun rises over against her, and the moon is seen over against the sun. Don't take my word for it. Go outside and witness and observe this, because it is very easy to see. And in fact, it will happen this evening. I'm doing this video here on the pagan day Sunday of the Gregorian pagan month, May. And it's the 3rd day of this particular month. It'll happen this evening. And tomorrow when the sun rises, it will announce New Moon Day, or the beginning of a day. We further read in Tehillim, meaning praises changed to Psalms, chapter 81, verse 3. Blow the ram's horn at the time of the new moon, at the full moon on our festival day. Everyone that knows their scriptures knows this is the first day of the 7th month. So it's not complicated, and thanks to the Father of Lights, we can bestow upon ourselves these gifts of light. Unfortunately, the world suppresses this knowledge and hides it. The heavenly luminaries, the greater light and the lesser light, reveal a great sign as captured in the book of Revelation chapter 12 verse 1. Allow me to read. And a great sign was seen in the heavens, a woman clad with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and on her head a crown of 12 stars. Who is Bethula, you may ask? Well, Bethula was the original Hebraic name for this particular constellation in the Mazzoroth. Her name was Bethula, which literally means a virgin. The story is indeed written in the stars. It starts off with the story of a virgin birth and ends up in the constellation or the Mazzoroth of Leo, where that virgin birth that produces the Messiah ends up being the King of Kings and Masters of Masters. This good news message is written in the stars. And Revelation 12:1 announces the first day of the first month of the Creator Yahuwah and his observable calendar in the heavens. In this visual from Stellarium, a free computer program that you can download, you can see that tonight, which is the Gregorian month of May, the third day at that, this evening, the full moon will rise in the east as the sun is setting in the west. Again, this happens once a month. This astronomical event is consistent. And this announces being at the feet of Bethula, the woman, the virgin birth, if you will, announces the first day of the first month of Yahuwah's calendar, the Creator's calendar. This happens again once a month, but only with the full moon at Bethula's feet, below the feet, does this happen once a year. It should be noted, yes, the world and its world religious systems, tied to the economic systems and the world governments, all celebrated New Moon Day on March 20th of this year. There was a solar eclipse, and that was a conjunction moon. Again, darkness. One has to ask, did Abib truly ripen? And with these conjunction and sliver moon methodologies, is it aligned with what we've just seen in Revelation 12:1? It's not, and will never be that way in any past year, present, or future year. These methodologies only work with a full moon phase. So remember, conjunction moon phases and crescent moon phases are only two witnesses of the four. That's the sun and moon. They are missing the alignment with the Mazzoroth, the stars, and Abib was not ripened this year. It was a 13th month, as everyone knows, and why everyone is saying, where is the spring? The winter is going much longer than we would hope it would. Well, there's no hope involved. Astronomically, the Creator's calendar in the heavens does what it does. I'm going to move quite quickly here now. This visual shows 2016, and when that full moon event below Bethula's feet happens, you can pull this up. It's highly advisable that you first go outside and see it starting this evening, and again in subsequent years. And you can use many of the tools that are available, in this case Stellarium. It again is free to download on your computer. So year after year, without fail, the four witnesses are aligned with the full moon phase as new moon methodology. So indeed, the heavens do declare the esteem of Yahuwah, and the firmament showeth his handiwork, as we read in Psalms chapter 19, verse 1. So let's get a head start. In the book of Yeshayahu, chapter 66, verses 22-23, it states the following: For as the new heavens and the new earth, which I will make, shall remain before me, saith Yahuwah, so shall your seed and your name remain. And it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith Yahuwah. So again, you can get a head start now. This evening you will see this great, great astronomical event from the Creator himself, Yahuwah, and enjoy these gifts of light from the Father of lights. So yes, we can pinpoint the first day of any given month, let alone the first day of the first month of an annual time period as it relates to the Creator's calendar, Yahuwah. Let's do a deeper dive though. The question is, can we literally observe the good news message from the sun and moon with the stars? E.W. Bullinger wrote a book entitled The Witness of the Stars in the late 1800s. And it contains some of the information of the good news message as written in the Mazzoroth or constellations, as related, as I just shared previously in the other visuals, with the alignment of the sun, the moon, with the stars. So as you can see, the full moon phase announces the virgin birth, Bethula, and ends up with the 12th constellation, or Mazzoroth, Leo the lion, or the king, if you will, from the tribe of Yehuda. And it's no surprise that the tribe of Yehuda and its emblem, if you will, was a lion. So there's much information shared on this subject matter if you are interested. And this is where the three witnesses of the sun, moon, with the stars is in full alignment. And as shared earlier, the fourth witness, Abib, we all know that March 20th and 21st, Abib was indeed not ripened, especially this year. There have been many books written about this subject matter. Another one by Tim Warner, Mystery of the Mazzoroth, Prophecy in the Constellations, Mazzoroth again being the Hebrew word for constellations. When I found out that Yahuwah appoints the number of the stars, and he gives names to all of them, as written in Tehillim or Psalms chapter 147 verse 4, that intrigued me. It's astounding. When I found out the true meaning of his name, let alone his real name and the meaning behind it, again, further intrigued me, and I found it further astounding in regards to why this information was hidden from me and kept in the dark. So again, as you see the rest of this presentation, you will find out that the scriptures is laced with Yahuwah speaking about his Mazzoroth as it relates to Eob, or the book of Job chapter 38 verse 31. Can you bind the chains of the Pleiades? Can you loosen Orion's belt? The Mazzoroth, also known as the zodiac, is the name given to the pattern of stars found on the celestial equator or ecliptic. The ecliptic is an imaginary zone of the heavens containing the 12 signs, within which lie the paths of the principal planets and through which the sun and full moon passes in its annual course, as we've shared already. As we continue to learn, even more astounding things are being revealed in the light. The Old Covenant message captured within the sun, moon, with the stars in the first 3 months is amazing. Again, the first month, Bethula, Virgo, shares the Abrahamic covenant as found in the books of Bereshith, Genesis, and as well Revelation. The second month, the scales, or Libra, the Mosaic covenant as found in the books of Shemoth, which was Exodus and Wayikra, or Leviticus. The third month, Scorpio, shares the message why Yahuwah rejected Israel, as found in the books of Bemidbar, or Numbers, and Debarim, Deuteronomy. These first 3 months of the observable calendar of the Creator Yahuwah contains the following message of the first 5 books of Scripture. And when you put them all together, it shares the following. In the beginning, the name called in the wilderness, the Word. The good news message is repeated annually when you utilize the sun, moon, with the stars. And this is exactly what the set-apart believers in the way celebrate during the spring appointed times, as we find in the book of Wayikra, or Leviticus chapter 23 verses 1 and 2 and verses 44. These feasts are not of the Jewish people, they're straight from the Creator Yahuwah. And these are the appointed times, or Moedim, in which he is asking and requesting us to celebrate. And because the sun, moon with the stars is such a reliable timepiece, you can use websites such as the U.S. Naval Observatory website. You can use Stellarium. And as a Berean, we are taught to test and prove all things and not to despise prophecies, as it states in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verses 20 through 21. As we all know, the month of April was the 13th month, or the time period within. And because the full moon phase follows the Mazzoroth and witnesses and shouts out the good news message, April 2nd, the full moon phase was at the head of Virgo. April 3rd, shoulder of Virgo. April 4th, the thigh of Virgo. And April 5th, the knee of Virgo. And coming into the month of May, as we can see on May 2nd, the full moon phase was at the hand of Virgo. May 3rd, it's at the knee of Virgo. And as the Enoch quote in chapter 78, the moon tonight indeed will rise in the east and will shine the whole night through, and then set in the west, And during this time period, that full moon phase will be below the feet of Virgo, announcing the first day and the first month of the new year. So the visual on the right-hand side is an attempt to show the Mazzoroth in these 2 months and what the full moon phase does. Remember, the conjunction and crescent moon phases do not align. Only the full moon as new moon provides full alignment with the sun and stars as per Bereshith, or Genesis chapter 1, verses 14 through 18. This visual shows the same thing with the second and third month of the observable calendar of Yahuwah, our Creator, and again, the conjunction and crescent moon phases do not align. And why the full moon as new moon does align, and why the Father of Lights has bestowed the gift of light upon us all. Continuing on further, the fourth month, Sagittarius, shares the message of the Promised Land as found in the books of Joshua, Yahushua, and Judges. Again, I'm using the Greek, Roman, pagan names of the Mazzoroth. There are Hebraic names for this, which provide much more context and definition and meaning. The fifth month, Capricorn, shared the Davidic covenant as found in the books of Shemuel and Chronicles. The sixth month, Aquarius, shares the Babylonian exile as found in the books of Yeshayahu, or Isaiah, and Daniel. And the seventh month, Pisces, shares the return from exile as found in the books of Ezra, Nehemiah, Haggai, and Malachi. Again, here's the same visual for the fourth and fifth months in this particular instance, highlighting how the full moon phase goes through the Mazzoroth of Sagittarius and Capricornus, right according to the book and information from Tim Warner as it relates to the good news message contained in the Mazzoroth. Again, the conjunction and crescent moon methodologies do not highlight this pattern, and they could not astronomically. Here is the same visual for the sixth and seventh month, showing the full moon phases going through the proper constellations or Mazzoroth of the Creator's calendar. Again, conjunction and crescent moon phases do not align, nor could they align astronomically to this view in the light. If this subject continues to interest you further, you'd be happy to know that the renewed covenant message captured in the sun, moon, and stars also applies. So please take the time to read that suggested book by Tim Warner, Mystery of the Mazzoroth, The Prophecy and the Constellations, as it shares some information about the eighth month, Aries, which shares the Lamb of the Renewed Covenant, as found in the books of Matithyahu, Marcus, Lucas, and Yehukanan. The ninth month, Taurus, shares the apostolic mission as found in the book of Acts. The 10th month, Gemini, shares the Gentiles being united with Israel as found in the books of Romans and Yehuda, or Jude. The 11th month, Cancer, shares the Great Tribulation as found in the book of Revelation. The 12th month, Leo, shares the Messiah's kingdom as found in Revelation chapters 20 through 22. Again, as Bereans, we do not despise prophecies, and we test and prove all things and hold fast to what is good. So this visual shows the 8th month and the 9th month with the full moon phase going through its proper Mazzoroth or constellations. Again, conjunction and crescent moon phases do not reveal the good news message. I know these slides are going very quickly here, but again, here's the same visual for the 10th and the 11th month. Please do the research on your own. It's very easy to find on the U.S. Naval Observatory site, or even Stellarium. And you can even buy for your iPad or iPod an app that is free to download called Skyview, and it gives you all of this information that you can see. If you're in a city where light pollution from man-made buildings and structures block out this excellent view from the Father of Lights. So many options to visualize this, and I have one more slide of this nature. And of course, the last slide showing the 12th month and the beginning of the new year come 2016, with the first day of the first month being again below the feet of Bethula the Virgin. So a great story. It is Yahuwah's story. It is history or his story and something to be viewed annually, and keeps us as Bereans moving in the direction of repairing the breach, so to speak. So as we can see, the heavens are indeed proclaiming the esteem of the Almighty Yahuwah, and the expanse is indeed declaring the work of his hand. So the good news is written, let alone spoken, where their voice cannot be heard and can be physically observed astronomically throughout the year. The sun and moon with the stars is the scriptural view of light, where the good news is written, let alone spoken, where their voice cannot be heard, and can be physically observed astronomically throughout the year, like this visual is sharing. Here is full alignment with the earth between the sun and the moon, and this is an example of the first day of any given month with a full moon phase. You will not see this astronomical phenomenon with a conjunction and or a crescent, because it will not be aligned with the Mazzoroth and or the constellations. So let us all walk in the light as we read in Tehillim or Psalms chapter 8 verse 3. For I see your Shamayim, the heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars which you have established. All three in perfect alignment, folks, as we have shared here. We are not just visualizing the sun and the moon, but we are incorporating the Mazzoroth as we have shared throughout this presentation. This is why I've always shared that David was simple, but I am envious of him when he was a shepherd, because he knew the timing of the seasons with the sun, moon, and with the stars, so the scriptural texts that were shared with him. In picture number 1, he knew about the changing of seasons and when a day begins at sunrise. Number 2, he knew about the new month and the Moedim from the new full moon phase. 3, he knew about the beginning of a new year and the prophetic events that surrounded them, as we've shared. Number 4, he knew how the feasts were aligned with the heavenly calendar and the ripening of Abib, truly. And number 5, in today's day and age, here's a picture of sky view looking at last night's event when the moon was only 97% illuminated, and the full moon was at the knee of Bethula or Virgo. And 6, these videos are designed and intended to motivate others and influence others to get outside and look. It's right in front of our faces. And then number 7, Stellarium, Skyview. These are all free tools that you can download. We are looking for other Bereans to come on board and praise the name which is above all names, and to help in uncovering what has been hidden by the world in its darkness, to further reveal the light so we can worship in spirit and truth. So thank you for the privilege of sharing in the name which is above all names. And as always, we are looking for further feedback and critiques to ensure that we are indeed worshiping in spirit and truth. And we thank each and every one of you, the repairers of the breach, that continue to share the good news message as it is indeed written in the heavens.